Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about 5 things that are killing your relationship. So if you are interested and want to learn about that and how to improve your relationships, let's get into it. I'm Summer. Thanks for joining me today. On my channel, I will be talking about different things that will help you have a happier home life, whatever that looks like for you. Today, we're talking about one of the most important things to us, our relationships. This video applies to romantic and non-romantic relationships, all relationships. All right, number 1, the first thing that is secretly killing your relationships is personalization. That's taking something personally that wasn't meant to be taken that way at all. Example of that could be, say your friend starts telling you a story about a friend that did something that they didn't like, and you're taking it personal in a sense. You're thinking, oh, maybe they're actually trying to tell me something about us and our friendship through this story. Or it could be something just as simple as someone does something and then you think that it was directed at you when it really wasn't. They might not have been thinking about you at all. Taking things personally can lead to feelings of defensiveness, and it also leads to assumptions. You're assuming that that person is meaning it in the way that you're taking it, or you're applying it to yourself when they really didn't mean it that way at all. It can also lead to blaming. You get defensive, or they get defensive, and then it's easy to retaliate and be like, well, wait, you did this, or whatever it is. Defensiveness can also be an obstacle from you hearing your friend or your partner and what they're actually trying to say because of those assumptions that you're making. So this is very damaging to your relationships. It stops you from actually hearing and understanding them fully, because what they are saying may be way different than what you're saying, and something might not be directed at you at all. So one thing we can do about this is just simply reminding ourselves that not everything is about us. Everyone's not talking about us, not everyone is judging us or saying something that is related to us. And we can be open-minded when people are talking to us. Instead of jumping to a conclusion, really just listen and not trying to formulate a response or trying to jump ahead of them and finish their sentence or their story. Just waiting and seeing where they're going with it can make a very big difference. And also, it is important if someone is sharing with you, just to thank them for opening up and really holding space for what they're trying to share with you. Number 2 is passive-aggressive behavior. That's indirectly expressing negative feelings instead of openly addressing them. Okay, let's give you a short example of this. I was cooking lunch one day, my husband was at work, and he came home later than he said he would, so the food was getting cold, and I was starting to get a little frustrated about it because I was like, it's hard to keep food warm. Sometimes. And so he comes home and he said something about the weather being cold, and I was like, yeah, it is pretty cold outside, and I hope that your food's not cold too. And he's very observant and emotionally in tune, so he could tell like there was something behind that. And so he was like, are you upset? I'm sorry that I came home late. I should have texted you. And I didn't realize at that point that I was actually frustrated about it. Passive aggressiveness can be very subtle, even for the person that is being passive aggressive. You may not realize it until you realize, oh no, there actually was feelings behind that. And so I didn't realize that I was getting frustrated about that, and it would have been better for me to say, hey babe, I would appreciate it if you could send me a text saying you're gonna be late or something like that, so I could prepare for that. And then I wouldn't make him feel bad for being late and things like that. So that's just one example, but really what it does is just sending a message indirectly instead of just openly addressing it. So it's really just beating around the bush, and that can be really damaging in your friendships and your relationships. It can cause hurt feelings. It can lead to anger. It can lead to resentment in the person that's being passive aggressive because they're never addressing the issue. So some things we can do to help with this is just simply stop and think before you speak. Is the thing that you're about to say loaded with emotion? Is there a lot of emotion behind it? That is a good sign that you need to think about what you're about to say. And address that underlying feeling. When you can feel it, when you can sense that there's something else, take a second and think, what am I feeling? And how can I address this in a healthy way that's not going to be indirect or hurt feelings? Use discretion. Sometimes if there is something bothering you, it's better to wait until it's a good time to bring it up, or you might need to plan a time with that person and say, there's something that's bothering me. When's a good time to talk to you about it? And really just being self-aware of how you express your emotions and how you come off when you're speaking. Number 3 is being self-centered, self-focused instead of others-focused. This really leads to a whole bunch of issues, just being unthoughtful, being inconsiderate of the other person's needs, their desires, their wants, whether, like I said, a friend or a romantic partner. It can go for both. This can lead to one-sided relationships as well if they or you are always the one that's sharing, always the one that's dominating conversation. And if you're really just not being aware of the other person in that relationship, thinking about what they would like in that situation, or what they would like to do or like to talk about, or asking them to share with you. So some things we can do to help with this is to practice empathy. Because if we're focused on ourselves, then we're not thinking about the other person and how they're feeling, what's going on for them. So really practice stopping, considering what their situation is, and thinking, if this was me, how would I feel in that situation? And it can help you have some empathy for that person and understand how they feel and what they're going through. Another thing that you can do is practice letting the other person go first. So if you're usually the first person to share in your friendship, like talk about your day, talk about what's happening, something that's bothering you, maybe consider asking your friend, hey, why don't you go first this time? I'd like to make sure you're heard. I'd like to make sure you're feeling supported. That could be sharing first, like I said, or it could be picking what to do. It could be allowing them to choose whatever it is instead of you choosing it. And really just getting into the habit of putting them first. No one wants to say that they're selfish, but really our human nature is selfish. And so it's something that can easily creep into our relationships. And so something we need to watch out for and make sure that we are putting that other person first. Okay, so we've talked about personalization. We've talked about passive-aggressive behavior and just being self-focused instead of other-focused. And the fourth one is just forcing your friendship, forcing your relationship. This is especially damaging because it's not allowing the relationship to grow naturally. What it does is it really puts pressure onto that friendship, onto that relationship to be something that it's not. Maybe pressure to live up to expectations that one person or the other person has. Or it could be pressure from society in a way that you're feeling that you need to be, whether it's talking every day or just different trends that are going around. If you're forcing your friendship to do those things, it's not allowing your friendship to blossom or bloom uniquely because every relationship is different. Forcing your relationship could also be from comparing it to others. I know when my husband and I started dating, I had an idea of what a relationship should look like, or other couples that I saw that I wanted to imitate or things like that. And it really put us back instead of helping us forward because it wasn't us. Like, I had to realize that my boyfriend is not their boyfriend. I'm not them. We're totally different, and that's okay. How we do things, how our relationship is different. And that's a beautiful thing, that everyone is unique. And so if you are trying to compare, it really kills the contentment in your relationship. So how can we help this? First is we can just look at our own expectations to just assess them honestly and see if they're realistic, see if they're healthy, and if they're not, how we can adjust that to become healthy and how we can help our relationship, our friendship just grow naturally. This can help us to be comfortable with ourselves and comfortable with other people. Instead of putting pressures, putting expectations that shouldn't be there, it's allowing you and the other person to grow and to flourish in your relationship uniquely, to be your own personalities instead of trying to imitate others. All right, number 5, the last thing that is killing your relationship is expecting that relationship to meet all your needs for connection. Whether that's like you have one best friend and that's the person you go to for everything. You call them if you're having a bad day. You call them if you're having a great day. If you want to go shopping, if you want to watch a movie, if you need something that they can get for you, or whatever it is, if you're expecting that one person to be the only person that meets all of those needs. And it could also be in a relationship, a romantic relationship. Maybe you just push away your other friends and you're just like, okay, I got my boyfriend, my girlfriend, whatever it is, and they're going to meet all my needs. That is dangerous because it's impossible. No one person can meet all of your needs for connection. I believe that only God can do that. And he's the only person that we should go to for being fulfilled, getting our sense of fulfillment. So when we look for that in someone else, we're putting a burden on our relationship that was never supposed to be there. Instead of realizing that we are multifaceted beings. We are made to be in community, not just have one person in our community. So analyze your relationship, analyze your friendship. Are you putting too much pressure on it? Are you expecting them to meet all of your needs, all your wants, all your desires, instead of diversifying that with multiple people? So if you do think about your friendships or people that you know, you may find that there are different people that you like to go shopping with, that you like to go hiking with. There may be some friends that you just click with. You have like deep conversations that you can be vulnerable with, maybe others that you have really great spiritual conversations with, others that you would trust to tell certain things, others maybe they're more of a, we hang out when we see each other. Some people you might text more, some people you might call more. There's all sorts of things, and realizing that each friendship is unique and different and can offer different things. You can offer different things to those friendships as well. Really frees them up to focus on those areas that you guys connect and thrive together in, growing those areas and not putting pressure on one person to be all of those things. And so that's another thing that we really want to look out for in the health of our friendships. Above all, I want to say that I believe prayer is really the best thing that you can do for all of these problems and most other problems in life. But it really just opens up your heart to God, to talk to Him, tell Him how you're struggling, tell Him what your problem is, and ask Him to work in your life. Ask Him to give you the Holy Spirit to show you what your needs are and what you need to work on, and to give you the power and give you the wisdom, the endurance, the tools to be able to do that. And I have a verse that I want to end off here with just for encouragement. It's one of my favorites. I'll read it. It is, being confident of this very thing, that He who has begun a good work in you will complete it until the day of Jesus Christ. Philippians 1:6. So it's easy to get discouraged, especially when we see areas that we need to grow in or the other person in the relationship needs to grow in. But I want to encourage you that God is always working on us and always working with us as long as we're open and surrendered to Him. And it might be hard by ourselves, but we know that with God all things are possible. And if you are struggling in your friendship, in your relationship, it doesn't have to be the end of it. It can grow, it can become more healthy. And especially as you look for these 5 things, and I think I might have to do a part 2 because there are so many things that drain relationships. But especially as you work on these 5 things, I would love to hear how it goes for you. I'd love to hear if there's anything you would have added to this list, any experiences you have with the things that I mentioned, and if you found any value in this video or you enjoyed it, I would appreciate it if you could like it and subscribe to my channel as well. I'll be talking about this and similar topics in the future. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.